the intro music. Yeah! Woo!
The great Jean-Luc Picard, quite possibly your favorite Star Trek captain. In fact, if we go by what a lot of people have in nostalgia or whatever reason, he is the face of the Federation. At least he was for a long time. Picard has definitely changed over the decades. But we're going to go over the answers to Picard with the 5 different questions. Now, if you want to, you can just skip to the end or we'll do a recap. But we're actually going to do like we did last time, where we go into kind of like the reasoning, the logic, the actual data, if you will. Spoilers. Anyway, going over some of this, why these answers are the way they are, and referencing the episode. Personally, I love this, and I love Star Trek deep dives. So if you're just here for the answers, you can kind of go to the end. We'll do a quick recap. But as we go along that process, we're going to talk about what makes that episode that episode. Like what about it was so, anyway, let's go over the answer. Starting with number 1. So which one of these facts is wrong about Jean-Luc Picard? 1, he was captain of the USS Newton. 2, born in France, which he's French, so hence Jean-Luc. And then you guys reached rank of admiral, which we know he did. If you've watched Picard, he's reached admiral. He's actually reached admiral on multiple different timelines. And then he has a brother. And you've seen that if you've watched The Next Generation, that he has a brother when he, went back to his little wine farm, vineyard. I think it's what those things are called. But anyway, the answer is the USS Newton, which is actually in the game. You could have unlocked this at Operations 46. It's the rare battleship for the Federation. But as you can see here, the USS Newton is not piloted by Jean-Luc. In fact, USS Newton is from the alternate timeline, the Kelvin timeline. So he would have never even seen this. And there are variants of this ship in existence in Picard's world, but not this particular one. It wasn't his anyway. Now, if they would have said the Stargazer, maybe. So that means if you're going into answers and everything, you're going to need to destroy 1 hostile in Zorik. I'm also watching my baby son. So today's video, very little editing, and you're probably going to hear some cooing in the background. He's like 9 months old. Anyway, appreciate y'all's love and support. So that means you need to go kill 1 hostile in Zorik. It is a low space, low travel range area. Next up is, what was Jean-Luc Picard's mother's name? Now, you get this not only in Picard, but you also get it in The Next Generation. We have a deep dive of his mother in season 2 of Picard, and I actually really appreciated that, because it starts to talk about the importance and the, I don't like to word it, but the dangers of mental health when you don't face those issues and when you don't take care of them. But Yvette was the mother of Jean-Luc Picard, and as you can see throughout here, we talk about her a ton in both Picard and even The Next Generation, where there's a lot of references where we're talking about Jean-Luc growing up, and he even has regrets. He talks about being an adult where he regrets not continuing with his piano lessons because his mother loved it. But it doesn't mean that's the answer for a question coming later. So that means if you are going by the Star Trek Fleet Command run, that is number D, or letter D, which means go destroy 1 hostile in Kajal. So we had A, D. Now we're going to question number 3 here. Jean-Luc has a pet named number 1. What kind of pet was he? Unless you consider, William Riker and the horn dog that he is to be a pet, which he did kind of pass up numerous commands for a long time. That's not the answer. In fact, it's a dog. We all know of Picard's fish that he has on the Enterprise D, but in Star Trek Picard, he actually has a pit bull named number 1 that he'll speak to in French, and we assume the pit bull is absolutely fine. I would never forgive Star Trek Picard if that was, if this pupper ever got hurt. I'm sorry. I can take a lot of things. Favorite characters dying off and stuff, but puppies, no, pups need to stay. In fact, I've even got a drawing of number 1 who is going to be in my card game, because I just enjoyed him so much. One issue, yeah, it's not a fish. And I actually take issue with the fact they didn't even list his fish here. They actually made it too easy. They should have listed the fish. But anyway, dog, go mine 1 parsteel. So we had A, D, and now C, mine 1 parsteel. Moving on to question number 4. Which instrument did Jean-Luc Picard learn to play as an adult? That's the key here. Because if you remember, your Picard lore knowledge, Star Trek has shown that he went into piano as a kid, but then in TNG, there's actually a really good episode where he lives an entire life in about a 25-minute span, about 50 years. And it's alien technology, because of course it is. And this allows him to experience a whole other life where he gets married, he has grandchildren, children, and learns to play the flute. Well, he retains that ability to play the flute after the whole, I'm not going to call it an experiment, but you go watch TNG The Inner Light and you kind of see it for yourself. But after that ends, well, he retains that and becomes one of his prized possessions. You even see it on the Enterprise E if you watch the movies. So Heyman's flute is going to be the answer to the flute right here. Mine 1 Tritanium. The answer is D. So we've gone A, D, C, D, if I remember correctly. And then finally, number 5 here on it. When Picard was assimilated, he spoke to the Enterprise crew with the following. I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is probably the most well-known bad guy saying in all of Star Trek. Resistance is futile. But your life as it has been is over. From this time forward, you will service us. It's a fantastic... Back when the Borg were scary, Voyager just never made them scary like Next Generation crew did. No spoilers. So this is Locutus of Borg, of course, and this still Jean-Luc Picard. I mean, he's still the same person, so this is him. And I actually love Captain Shaw's quote. If y'all haven't seen Picard Season 3, we'll check it out. But from the episode No What Scenario, the real Borg are still out there, and they have a name for you, talking directly to Admiral Picard. Locutus of Borg, the only Borg so deadly they gave him a goddamn name. Y'all don't know, Captain Shaw is a fantastic character. Really love him in Picard Season 3. So if you haven't checked out Picard Season 3, strongly recommend that you do. Which that means B is the answer. Destroy 1 hostile in Rigel. Now, we're about 7 minutes in, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap of all of the answers. Answer to number 1 is A. Answer number 1 is A. Now we're going to go to answer number 2. The answer to number 2 is D. A, D. Answer number 2 is D. Answer number 3 is C. A, D, C. Answer to number 3 is C. A, D, C. Answer to number 4 right here is D. So A, D, C, D. And then finally, number 5, A, D, C, D. And then we get to the flute, A, D, C, D, B. So these are your answers, or get to futile. These are your answers for the Great Picard, and hopefully you enjoyed the Star Trek trivia lesson as well. I personally am a big fan of Star Trek trivia, and I have always loved these scrambled communications. That's what they were first called, scrambled communication style events. I find them absolutely, just enchanting even, because you get to really experience Star Trek in a game that sometimes doesn't feel like Star Trek. So I actually really like that. So if you enjoyed the video, do me a quick solid, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, pass this out to all those who need the answers, and last but not least, live long and prosper. Stay safe for those space cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video content / thing, which is every day. And before anybody asks at the end of this video, no, I don't have an update about the store. Hopefully to find out by the end of the day. I don't know. Anyway, bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.